Welcome if this is your first time here, and if not, welcome back. We are here to discuss Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago and his undermining of foundational Black American progress in Chicago.
I don't understand why. Well, I know why. You from Elgin. You graduated from Evanston. So that's why you don't know. You've been a clown. From one non-goofy to a goofy, the $21 hair tax ain't gonna work in this city.
A black man with a black wife and three black kids and LGBT. You got two black ladies over there, black man, who just told you got a black man right here who just told you their properties are being taken. Black people properties are being taken by your guy, Obama. What you really about as a black man? Come over there and defend me. Stand up for the fact that you know
Mhm.
that the city and the county is trying to illegally take my property and other black people's property.
You over here defending these illegal aliens like they're your children. And they probably are because if you are a Haitian mayor, then we need to check your immigrant status for deportation.
He is not governing to all Chicagoans. He is governing more to the benefit of a subset of constituents. And he's doing so in a very ideologically driven way.
At this point, I think Chicago is done pretending. They are getting tired of Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Because you're not really about that life, black man. See, it ain't about that. See, you a communist, you foreigners, and you a foreigner. And see, you communists and socialists think that we're going to allow you to come in Chicago.
You see Brandon Johnson out here trying to push this $16.7 billion budget like it's a buy one, get one free. And the whole city is saying we need more time. People are absolutely destroying him in City Hall. Elders are telling him to slow down. In all these situations, he looks like a substitute teacher who just lost the class in the first 5 minutes. So we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that's going on with him trying to push his budget and what the people have to say about him in that last city council meeting. Let's get into it.
Some key Chicago City Council members are urging Mayor Brandon Johnson to slow down on his $16.7 billion budget proposal that raises a host of taxes. Political reporter Paris Schutz is in studio with me this morning, and he explains.
Yeah, Natalie, by all accounts, the mayor's pulling out all the stops to secure the 26 votes needed for his budget, and he wants to secure them fast. Now, this is the mayor is additionally floating $1.3 billion in borrowing for infrastructure spending. A lot of that would go to alders to use for their desired projects in their wards. One alderman, David Moore, says the mayor is going to use TIF funding for a long sought after Park District field house in his ward. So an example of the wheeling and the dealing to possibly secure those budget votes. But a key alderperson, Pat Dow, who is Mayor Johnson's selection to lead the
All right, so there are several parts to that, but because that is someone else's intellectual property, I'm going to go on ahead and read from my description of the video in the box below, but you can go on ahead and go to TikTok and watch that. So, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has experienced a significant loss of favor among African American constituents, leading to historically low approval ratings and calls for his recall. This dissatisfaction stems from several key issues, including rising crime rates, the handling of the migrant crisis, and his relationship with the teachers' union. Reasons for dissatisfaction, one of them being migrant crisis handling, a major point of contention in the city's approach to housing newly arrived migrants in African American communities that are already under resourced. Black residents have protested the transfer of millions of dollars in city funds for migrant services, arguing that the money should be invested in their own neighborhoods instead. Did you hear that? And if you heard that, how could you disagree with that? You have an underserved community being shoved into another underserved community to its own neglect and to its own detriment, taking money from Americans who need it and giving it to people who are not Americans. It's not that they're less deserving, it's that they're not Americans. And somewhere in the world, Americans have to come first. We don't deserve to come first in Japan. We don't deserve to come first in China. But in America, Americans deserve to come first, especially when you are a part of American group who built the foundations of America from 13 colonies. Matter of fact, from Carolinas and Virginia, when your ancestors built all 50 states. You deserve to be heard and you deserve to be seen. You deserve to be served by your own elected public officials. Now, crime and public safety concerns about persistent crime and public safety issues have been central to the decrease in support for this Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Despite Johnson's team pointing to some successes, many constituents feel the administration has not adequately addressed the issue, leading some to explore alternatives or even express support for different political figures in the 2024 election. Relationship with the Chicago Teachers Union, the CTU, Johnson, a former educator who was strongly backed by the CTU, has faced criticism over his administration's close ties to the union, particularly regarding a controversial high interest loan proposal for teacher pay raises. This has impacted his standing at the CTU's own popularity. Standing as a CTU's own popularity has also waned. Over his overall job performance, you have polls that indicate a historic low approval rating for Johnson across all demographics. So it's not just the indigenous Black American who thinks he stinks. Okay. Currently around 14 to 26%, depending on the poll, which is significantly lower than his predecessor, Lori Lightfoot, at the end of her term. Overall job performance polls indicate a historic low approving for Johnson, across all demographics. I read that already. So his political impact, the widespread dissatisfaction has fueled efforts to recall the mayor. They want to recall this fool. State representatives introduced legislation in January 2025 to create a recall process for the mayor of Chicago, a move political observers suggest has a greater chance of passing now due to Johnson's extreme unpopularity. This trend in Chicago is part of a broader national conversation about the relationship between Black politicians and their African American constituents, with some experts noting a disconnect between current leaders and the grassroots organizing roots of past generations. So you have what we have here is an undermining of the indigenous Black American. The indigenous Black American naively, greenly said, "Hey, we're all Black, rooting for everybody Black. Let's go, let's do this." Only to have other people say, "Well, now that I'm here, I'm Jamaican. Now that I'm here, I'm actually Panamanian. Now that I've gotten your Black votes, I'm actually, not one of you. You're not like us, and I'm going to use my power that you invested in me to take money from your community and put it in towards and in another." So this is the problem here. And this is why delineation has become so important, because you have this problem that how can we fix? How can we fix this if you are undermining us? That's worse than disloyalty, that's treachery. And me personally, I don't know how it's impossible to care for two communities at the same time. I don't know how that's an impossible thing. I don't know why, with so many politicians, it's like, well, we have to take from the African Americans, the so called African American, to give to X, Y, and Z. I don't know why we can't just help everybody out in the same space. But I'm like this, right? And this is why I made the video about Ilhan Omar. It wasn't to, drag her, it was to say, get like her. Because when it comes to Ilhan Omar and being a Somali, she's a Somali first. Black Americans have never been Black American first. We have always been rooting for everybody Black. We have been the pinnacle of Pan Africanism. As long as you were Black, we were the ones who told people when they got here, "Hey, I know you Haitian, but when you get pulled over by the cops, you're Black. When it comes to college admissions, you're Black. When it comes to that job interview, you're Black." And they're like, "No, no, no, it's not the same. It's not the same. I Dominican papi. No, 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 no. I know Black. I know Black." And we thought that they changed, but they only changed that in as much as it suited them. The loyalty is not going both ways. The solidarity is not going both ways. In some cases, it does. And in too many cases, it's not being reciprocated. So Black American, you do what you do to get your lineage elected. Because as natives, as Aborigines, we deserve to be put first in our own nation that we built for free. I think Mayor Zohran Mamdani of New York is charming and intelligent and well spoken, but we built this for free. We built New York up from the swamp that it was when we found it. We built that. It wasn't immigrants. These are people who were Aborigines, who were indigenous American Indians. Sure, some Africans were brought here, but they were absorbed by that population. And even still, those Africans who were brought here and who were absorbed into the Black American community, no, those aren't immigrants. Immigrants make a choice.
We are not a damn immigrant group. We are native-born, ethnic, foundational Black Americans created right here on this soil. We had a unique ethnogenesis, ladies and gentlemen, mixing with the Black Aboriginal that was already here. The captives brought over from Africa through forced trafficking, resulting in a new people, not an immigrant population. We are not immigrants. Captives did not immigrate. They were absorbed into an emerging population that already existed on this land. Many Black people were already on this land prior to European arrival, and then the people forced over, blended in with that. That created an ethnogenesis, ladies and gentlemen. That is not no damn immigration in any sense of the word, ladies and gentlemen. Immigration, that implies voluntary entry. That implies making a deal. That implies pledging allegiance to a new nation. No, that means leaving somewhere and then going somewhere better. No. We had an extremely unique situation, not even comparable in any sense of the word to some damn immigration. You don't immigrate into fucking slavery. You idiots.
Dominicans are not Black. We are not Black. And no matter how much Black Americans cry about it, we're not Black. We will never be Black. Yes, I look Black, but we're not Black. And it's just a reminder to Black Americans who are so pathetically forcing Dominicans to label themselves as Black. But we keep telling them we have our own culture.
As the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative that Black people from other places understand the disparate difference that they exist from Black people in the United States. It is not the same. Period. And ultimately, the best effort that we can do as a diaspora is to lead in understanding, not in judgment. So when I am talking to somebody from Sudan, from the Congo, from Angola, I am listening to understand their experience, not to undermine it. And I refuse to allow anybody from Grenada, from Angola, from any other place to come and try to undermine the experience of Black Americans.